In the constellation Cygnus, 1400 light years from here, there's a star that does something no star should do. It doesn't flicker, it goes dark. And not by a little, by 22% for days at a time, with no pattern, no warning, and no explanation that anyone could make stick. A planet crossing a star dims it by 1% for a few hours, like clockwork. This star dimmed 20 times more than that. And then, months later, it did it again, differently. For a decade, the honest answer was that this shouldn't be possible. So what is it? The answer astronomers have now landed on is stranger than every guess that came before it, including the one about aliens. The star wasn't found by a telescope pointed by professionals. It was found by volunteers, ordinary people sorting through data from the Kepler mission on a project called Planet Hunters. The job was simple. Watch a star's brightness. Look for the tiny regular dip that means a planet is crossing it. In 2015, a group of these volunteers flagged a star that refused to behave. Astronomer Tabby led the study, and the star now carries her name, Tabby star. What the data showed was impossible to explain with planets, because planets make a star dim by a fraction of a percent, on a schedule you can set your watch to. Tabby's star dimmed by up to 22%, at irregular intervals, sometimes for days, and no two dips looked alike. A planet couldn't do this. A cloud of dust couldn't do this. Nothing in the standard model could do this, which brings us to the moment the whole world heard about it. One astronomer, Jason Wright of Penn State, proposed something no one had seriously suggested before. What if the dips weren't natural at all? What if something, a civilization far older than ours, had built a structure around the star? A swarm of panels, harvesting its light. The name for it is Dyson swarm. And for a brief moment, aliens was not a joke. It was the leading serious hypothesis. The headline wrote itself: the most mysterious star in the galaxy. Maybe the first real sign that we're not alone. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. Because the truth turned out to be stranger and quieter than the aliens. By 2017, new data landed. The dimming astronomers found was not a solid structure. It was dust. Uneven clouds of dust moving around the star, blocking different amounts of light at different times. Not aliens, dust. And for most people, that was the end of the story. The mystery solved, the fun over, the star filed away. Except, now there's a problem with the dust too. In July 2026, astronomers re-examined the star with fresh data from the TESS telescope and found a dip the old story can't explain. A 21-hour dimming, just over 1%, perfectly smooth and symmetric. That shape matters. It's the signature of a single solid object crossing the star, not a ragged cloud of dust. The leading answer is a giant companion, a planet-sized world on a 3 to 4 year orbit, carrying its own ring system and a trail of shattered debris behind it. The dust isn't random. Something is shredding itself out there. Something huge is circling the star, and it's been doing it the whole time. So let me put the pieces together, because the story is better than the headline. The dips that made Tabby's star famous, the 22% plunges, are almost certainly not caused by one thing. They're the combined shadow of a system in chaos. A giant world, ringed like Saturn but far larger, sweeping through a field of broken comets and planet fragments. Each pass scatters fresh dust. Each scatter blocks the star's light differently. That's why no two dips ever looked alike. We weren't watching one object. We were watching an entire system tear itself apart, one orbit at a time. The alien megastructure theory was thrilling because it imagined something built. The real answer is almost as strange, because it means something out there is being destroyed. Here's the sentence I keep coming back to. For a decade, we thought we found the strangest object in the galaxy, a star doing something that shouldn't be possible. Then we were told it was just dust, and we stopped looking. But the dust was never the answer. It was the symptom. The real mystery, the thing still moving out there, hitting in a debris field, is a world we haven't even seen yet. We spent 10 years trying to explain a flicker, and the explanation turned out to be a planet we didn't know existed, in a system slowly falling apart. This channel is about exactly these moments. The ones where the boring answer turns out to be the beginning, not the end. Tabby's star didn't stop being mysterious in 2017. It just changed the question. And the next time a telescope turns toward it, we might finally see what's been hiding in the dust all along. If you wanna be here when we do, subscribe and stick around. Until next time, clear skies.